Good morning. My name is Toby Blume, and along with Mr. Data Unity, Kev Kirkland, we're going to introduce the tool that's been created. I'm not going to talk about Data Unity specifically. I'm just going to kind of introduce some of the context and the background to how we arrived at developing Data Unity, and then Kev will give you a demo and show you some of the kind of applications. My background is working in the not-for-profit sector with community organisations, and one of a small number of people, some of whom are in this room, who are interested in open data and how it can be applied for social good. But I'm not a developer, I'm not a technical expert, I'm just an amateur enthusiast. So, the kind of context and the journey we've been on. First of all, we kind of had open government and a commitment to kind of the right to data. Then, of course, we started to get open data. People took to the streets in celebration, and data analysts were the new rock stars, and the world was a better place. Meanwhile, back on planet Earth, open data is really something which is a minority sport played by geeks, to coin a phrase, Carl Wilding. Rather confusing, extremely complicated, terrifying, risky, or completely irrelevant, depending on the day and your perspective. I would ask you to just kind of open your mind for a moment to some of the possibilities. Actually, we think that there is vast potential in open data if we can create a kind of level playing field, and socially focused organisations have tools that enable them to make use of it. Some of the benefits I would suggest are around accountability, both holding people, bodies, whoever to account, but also making ourselves as not-for-profit organisations more accountable directly to our beneficiaries and stakeholders. I think there's tremendous potential for creativity and actually looking at data in different ways, looking for new insights and actually bringing fresh perspective to what we do. Lots of potential for creative collaboration as well, and I think there's a lot of potential in opening our data up, as Ben was saying. You know, we shouldn't necessarily assume that we know what people are looking for, or so I think that there can be a lot of kind of scope to work with other organisations that we might not immediately see the kind of direct relationship, but which emerge from insights that data can give us. And fundamentally, I think it's about outcomes, and I think that was already evident with Ben's presentation, that actually if we can use data more effectively to gain insights, we can start to see how we can identify demands or needs, or indeed assets, if we take a more kind of strengths-based approach, and actually focus on increasing our confidence that what we do is leading more directly to the outcomes that we say we want to achieve. The analogy I often use around open data and the BCS is clip art. You might have been wondering why there's some wonderful graphics from the libraries of Microsoft on your screen. If you remember back to when clip art was first unleashed in the world, it was amazing. Suddenly we could put images in together with words, and you know, I mean, it was absolutely mind-blowing. But of course, things move on, and fast forward to today, how many of us would search these libraries online? Of course not. You know, we've become much more sophisticated in how we combine words and images and how we kind of regard that. Our aspirations are much higher, and yet my mother-in-law would still very happily search for clip art, so there is still a need for that kind of entry level. But the fact is, we've moved on, our sophistication has moved on. Now we want kind of beautiful infographics that, you know, so the analogy of clip art is actually we're starting out on a journey around our familiarity, our aspirations for data and data visualization. But we do need to kind of provide the basic tools that enable people to become more data literate, more familiar with the figures, and easier for them to create these beautiful infographics. But we need to recognise where we are. We didn't jump straight from clip art to Google Images. There was a lot of space in between. So we need to kind of help people with those first steps. Here comes the cavalry, and I'm going to introduce Kev Kirkland, who is Mr. Data Unity. But I just want to kind of point out, you know, we're at the start of a long road towards the kind of where we might like to get to, and I think that Data Unity hopefully can help us to bring data competence to new users, as well as providing something for more sophisticated users to provide us with the kind of inspiration to work towards. Okay.